why do we seek the same kind of dynamics in these toxic relationships? It's just like the devil, we can't help but seek out what feels familiar, even though we know it's not healthy for us. But why do we attract these awful dynamics again and again?
Because it's familiar. So think about it this way. I love to approach our behavior from the perspective of survival. We've all got a nervous system. Its primary and sole function is to help us survive. If your first experience of love, which is bonding with your parents, doesn't go well, or doesn't go as well as it should, at some point in your 16 years of life, you have some kind of loss, trauma, neglect, whatever the case may be, it doesn't go well. That's what you begin to associate with being loved. So, for example, my mom was inconsistent. She is avoidantly attached, fearful avoidant. I call that the chameleon type, people pleasing. She had a job. She had a struggling relationship with my dad. She couldn't be there all the time. She was uncomfortable talking about her own feelings, let alone my feelings. So often when I needed her, all I got from her was distance. Like, she was comfortable meeting my basic needs for food and shelter and took me to school and was reliable and predictable in those ways. But when it came to my emotions, she wasn't. And I had the experience of being abandoned by mom. So that was my very first experience of love, because mom was my first attachment figure. So I learn, and what gets wired into my brain is love equals abandonment. Now, I consciously know that that's not true, but my nervous system doesn't. So every time I meet somebody else that at some level is unavailable, my nervous system goes, bing, 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 there's somebody you could love. And I get into a relationship with them, and I feel the same anxiety I felt at some level with my mom. I couldn't have named it at the time because I was too young. But with this new person, I feel it again. And I'm like, I'm in love. And what has been wired in my brain, I've got crossed wires, that anxiety equals love. So every time I'm with someone that makes me feel anxious, my nervous system starts going like this. I'm in love. This is the one. And every time I meet somebody who makes me feel calm, I'm like, boring.
Right.
Next, And so that's how I kept attracting the same person. We attract people that feel familiar. The sum total of our experience of love with mom and dad is what we seek out in another, but unconsciously. We won't often see it in the beginning. They'll be predictable, like you spoke about with your husband, predictable, reliable, constant in the beginning, until you hit the power struggle stage. And then suddenly they turn into your parents and you turn into theirs.